A 3-second jarring, distorted clip of the Max Headroom intrusion plays. Buzzing, chaotic laughter, the masked figure swaying erratically.
In 1987, someone found a glitch in reality. They hijacked the airwaves, showed the world a nightmare, and then disappeared forever. That wasn't a clip from some lost horror movie. It was a real television broadcast from Chicago on the night of November 22nd. It's one of the most bizarre, unsettling, and just plain audacious media hacks in history. And to this day, it remains completely unsolved.
So to really get why this is so legendary, you have to understand the night it all went down. Because this wasn't just one random attack. It was a targeted, two-part assault on an entire city's airwaves. The first strike was short and just weird. It's 9:14 p.m., people are watching the sports report on WGN, and suddenly the signal just cuts out. For 28 really unnerving seconds, this silent figure in a Max Headroom mask just bobs on screen in front of this strange spinning metal background. And then poof, it's gone. WGN's engineers managed to wrestle back control. But 2 hours later, at 11:15, they were back. This time they hit the public broadcast station WTTW, right in the middle of Doctor Who. And this time, it wasn't silent. For a full 90 seconds, they unleashed this torrent of distorted, absolutely unhinged audio and video. You've got to realize, this isn't like hacking a website today. This was 1987. To overpower a major city TV station's broadcast signal, that took serious technical skill, some powerful hardware, and just incredible audacity. They weren't just uploading a file, they were seizing control of the air itself, forcing their bizarre nightmare into thousands and thousands of living rooms.
So let's break down the evidence they left behind, because that second, longer broadcast wasn't just random noise. Oh no, it was a performance, a bizarre, surreal, and deeply, deeply unsettling one. In this garbled, distorted voice, the figure takes a direct shot at Chuck Swirsky, who was a really well-known sportscaster for WGN, the first station they hit. This single line tells you so much. It wasn't random. It felt personal. It was a local jab that suggests whoever did this, they weren't just tech nerds, they were plugged right into the Chicago media scene.
And then you get this moment of twisted humor. See, the real Max Headroom was the face of Coca-Cola's big Catch the Wave ad campaign. But our hijacker, he shouts the slogan while holding up a Pepsi can, and then just tosses it off screen. It's this perfect little act of brand anarchy that just captures the whole vibe of the event.
After that, the performance just devolves into pure, unadulterated chaos. The figure hums the theme song to this really obscure 1950s cartoon, mumbles lyrics from a Temptations song, and then makes this cryptic claim about creating a masterpiece for newspaper nerds. But the grand finale was just, well, it was something else. He bends over, and an accomplice who was just off screen spanks his bare butt with a fly swatter. It was absurdist, it was juvenile, and it was absolutely unforgettable. Okay, but how? How did they actually do it? This is where the story goes from being a bizarre prank to a genuine high-tech mystery. Was this the work of some rogue broadcast genius or just a couple of clever hobbyists?
And you know, this is a debate that still goes on today. One theory says this was a super sophisticated operation, that it would have required expensive, powerful microwave transmitters and some deep insider knowledge of broadcast engineering to overpower the station's main signal. But another theory argues it was much, much simpler. Back in the analog days, if you had a clear line of sight to the station's receiving dish and a transmitter that was simply closer and stronger, you could hijack the whole thing with gear you could literally buy at Radio Shack.
So that's the central question, isn't it? Who was behind that mask? Was this a disgruntled broadcast engineer with an axe to grind and access to all the professional gear? Or was it a new kind of tech-savvy anarchist, proving to the world that the system was a lot more fragile than anyone ever thought? The answer completely changes the nature of the crime.
So the authorities had the footage, they had the audio, they had all the technical data from 2 separate broadcast intrusions. They launched a full-scale federal investigation. So where did it all lead? Yeah, absolutely nowhere.
The FCC and the FBI threw everything they had at this thing. They analyzed the tape frame by frame, they interviewed all the station employees, they chased down every possible technical lead you can imagine, and they found nothing. No credible suspects, no deathbed confessions, no one bragging online about their legendary hack. The people behind this pulled off a technically brilliant crime and then just performed the perfect vanishing act.
And that leads to a really compelling theory. Some investigators think the reason the official report was never released and why the details were kept so quiet is because the method was frighteningly simple. The FCC might have decided it was better to just let the mystery stand than to publish a how-to guide for every wannabe copycat in the country. They didn't want anyone else to know how easy it was to break their signal.
So why are we still talking about this today? Why does it still feel so unsettling? Because the Max Headroom incident wasn't just a prank. In a way, it was a ghost from our own future. It was a warning about the fragility of the media we trust every single day.
You could call it analog anarchy. Before DDoS attacks and data breaches, this is how you disrupted the flow of information. It was a physical, hardware-based attack on this system. And in a world now dealing with deepfakes and digital misinformation, this was kind of the original sin. It was the first real proof that what you see on your screen might not be real at all.
And maybe the most enduring, most chilling part of this whole mystery is this number right here, 0. In almost 4 decades, not a single person has ever credibly come forward to take responsibility. No one has ever claimed credit for one of the most infamous hacks in history. That secret is still out there, held by people who have to be in their 50s or 60s by now, and they have kept completely, totally silent.
I mean, just think about that. The people who pulled this off could be anyone. They could have normal jobs, families, and they're still holding on to the secret of what they did on that cold November night back in 1987. They saw a crack in the system, and for 90 seconds, they just filled it with pure, beautiful chaos.
The mystery of who they were and why they did it remains a perfect, unsolved glitch in the history of media. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and join us as we decode the darkness, one byte at a time.